Hello everyone, I am Bets Golden. Today I want to share with you a technique that I like to use when using watercolor. I love these sparkly and bright watercolor by Art by Marlene. I don't know about you, but I have a lot. I don't use my watercolors as much as I would like to. This is just one set that I have. I think part of my problem is because I don't know much about watercolor, and when I do, it drives me nuts when it goes outside of the lines. And with watercolor, that's kind of what it is. It's supposed to be that loose, beautiful flow. But with that being said, I want to use this new stamp set that I have right here, and also this one, though I'll be demoing with this one. But don't these just look beautiful to color in? So I'm going to be using these and my watercolor set here. I like this. I just noticed this, you guys. Check it out. There's a watercolor pen in it. So that's going to be nice. I didn't realize that that was the case. It looks like there's some up here to mix. I've used this before, obviously, because everything's used, but I forgot about that in my little swatch. So anyway, that's a fun little thing about this little set. So when doing this technique, you're going to want to have a nice paper that can handle watercolor. Down below, I listed for you a paper that I think would work. I have to tell you that really, if you go to the store, like to your big box store, and you buy those spiral bound mixed media paper that you can get like on sale, that really is your best bet on this. You don't want it so thick, like you don't want like it so thick that it absorbs everything rather quickly, because we're going to be embossing on it. So you want it to have some time where, you know, you can at least emboss, get your powder down, and heat set it. Like you want that to happen, right? Otherwise, this won't work. So the paper, finding the paper is the hardest thing. I do have listed for you down below what I like. I also like to buy the spiral bound so you can get like 30 to 50 sheets, and it's economical. I was able to cut 4 card fronts out of 1 piece of paper. So I think that that's a good value. I wanted to pass that on to you. So let's go ahead and jump into this. First thing I want to do is I want to get all of the moisture that is on this off. So I just took this static pouch and I put it in a paper clip so I don't have to touch it. And it also gives me better control. So I just like to kind of tap it on and then rub it in. And this gets rid of all of the moisture that this could have picked up from my fingers. Because see, as I'm embossing, those prints, wherever the moisture is where my embossing powder is going to stick. And I just want it to stick to the image. Then from there, I'm going to take my stamp press. I really like this one. I couldn't find a direct link, so I'm going to link where the store you can get it at, but it has a foam pad on the back, so you never have to worry about your clear stamps coming up. Not all, sometimes you'll miss, there's holes in it, you know, because there's no cushion. And so it gives you a nice stamped clear image. That's what I'm looking for, a clear image. So there's a line on the side right here. I'm lining it up just like that. I already have my stamps positioned in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and hold it down with one of these. I really don't need it. From here, I'm going to use my clear ultra drying, slow drying, and I'm just going to layer this on, making sure I get a really, really nice, juicy coverage for this. And one thing I like to do is I'm going to be popping the sentiment on here too, but I like to go off of the page a little bit, off of the card front. I just think it's super pleasing to the eye. And I probably am doing an overkill with this, but I really want to make sure that this all stamps out, because I'm going to be placing my black embossing powder over it. So I really need to make sure that I get every single line. All right, and then from here, I'm just gonna take this, and this has like this really cool spring You see that? It's so cool. I love this thing. Lined up right there on the edge, and just push it through. I love this thing. It's so great. A stamp press. All right. I think we're good. Now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to emboss. I got to tell you, finding black embossing powder to recommend was so hard. I thought that WOW would have some direct links, and I couldn't find any. So anyway, I did link through some that I think are good. It's not the one I'm using. I'm using literally what's in my stash, trying to use it up. So, but embossing powder is embossing powder. Okay. Oh, so pretty, right? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, I love that. Isn't that lovely? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off camera and emboss that. Now, you may have a heat gun, and the Heat It tool by Ranger, which is like my favorite thing ever as far as trying to dry things, but you really want to have an embossing tool for this. And this is what an embossing tool looks like. It gives a nice, consistent, very intense heat. And that's what you need to melt the embossing powder. I probably didn't say that right. This is like 20 years old, so they last forever. I'll link through some really good ones down below for you. I have to do this off screen because I am living in a new place now, and I don't have outlets like I used to by my desk to be able to do this type of thing. But I'm just gonna go emboss this. You're gonna know that it is completely embossed when it turns shiny. It's all embossed. It's beautiful. I really like how this image turned out. And the paper that I'm using, I gotta tell you, watercolor paper, yes, ideal for watercolor, but when you're doing a technique like this, go more for the mixed media paper. It can withstand the water, but it also is, it's pliable, is that the word, enough where it's not going to suck in all the moisture so quick that it dries and you can't get a good embossed image. So definitely use the paper or something similar to what I have listed down below, because that's really your best option. All right, now is the fun part. So I'm going to open up my paint here, and I'm just going to start to paint. And I like to take and just mist the whole thing down with a little bit of water at first. Like that. And then I'm just going to use this handy dandy little brush that came with everything. There's some color on it though, so I want to try to get the majority of that off. I don't want to cross-contaminate my colors. All right, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm feeling yellow. Let's see if that's up here on this one. So I'm just going to pop it in. And what the embossing powder does, the embossing image does, is it allows for the edges to be raised. And so it pools the watercolor and it won't let it run outside of those edges. So that's why I like to use stamped embossed images when I'm watercoloring and I want my watercolor to stay in where it needs to go. As you can tell, it's totally working, right? All right, so let me get my yellow, like, let's see, where else do I want to do yellow? I'll do some yellow down here, and then I'll move on to my next color. And I am a little bit concerned, you know, that it'll mix, the colors will mix. So I got to make sure I really, really clean off that tip before I dip it into anything else. So I'm going to work from my warm tones that I know would mix well if they do get mixed into my cool tones. So I'm going to do yellow first, and then I'm going to do this red or pink. It's actually called shimmering, And then I will go over and do the purple. And then I'll go into the blue and then finally that green. How pretty is that? And it was no effort. It all pretty much stayed in the lines. I just love how sparkly it is too. So we're gonna finish this card off. I'm gonna put this sentiment directly on it. I'm gonna use my Archival ink. This is a jet black ink and it is permanent, waterproof. Again, I already have it lined up in my stamp press here. So this time though, I wanna put on a couple magnets just in case I do have to stamp this more than once. And the closer you can get it to where your stamped image is as far as your magnets go, the better. Because it just holds it better in place that way. All right. So here we go. I'm just moving those magnets around, making sure I have good placement here. Also want to make sure that I have that lined up. Yep, looks good, looks good. So I'm just going to pick it up. It already was picked up, but you know. And get a nice coating of my Archival jet black ink. And then let's pop it on once and see if we need to do it again. I kind of do want that a little bit darker. So I'm just going to pop it on again. This is the beauty of using a stamp press or a stamp platform, is that you can get perfect placement no matter what. So I love, love, love stamp presses. All right. And voila, that is looking great. So our card front is done. Let's just finish this off. And I'm going to go ahead, ink the edges up with the black again. I like to do this. You could do a different color, but I have this out. So, you know, why not? It's here, it's done. And then I'm going to use just some foam tape on the back to give it a little bit of extra oomph. I want to put it on a black card base, and all I do for this is I just take my black 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I get super cheap at you know, my big box store. You can get 2 packs for $5. Some people don't like to do that. Some people are like, well, it's crap. Yeah, it is not the best. I will give you that. But it's, for me, it does its purpose. It folds, it does what it needs to do. Which is a substrate to put my art on and get it to someone. So what I do is I take one sheet of that cardstock that you can get, again, from your big box store. I like to find them on sale, 2 for $3. I usually will pick up black and craft and then 2 whites. And I just take one sheet, because they're 8.5 by 11. I cut it down the middle, and then I score it. So it'll give me 2 perfect A2 card sizes. So this is like, let me show you. This is like one sheet right here. I just cut it down the middle, flipped it over, scored it in the middle, and now I have 2 card bases, and I don't have to use my specialty paper and, you know, have to rob a bank to do it. Not that I think that you should do that, but you know, it's economical. I mean, if you're going to cut corners, there's certain places that you can definitely do that well. And I think that your card base is one place that you can definitely do that, make your own, you know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Some people disagree, so you have to make the best decision there. All right, so I did cut this down to 4 by 5.25 so that it's going to give me a really, really nice border. And so I am just going to take this, and I like to line it up. I do have a glass mat under here, but to avoid the glare, I have my silicone mat over it, which I love, but you can still see the graph, which I think is great. So I really, really like this. And I'm just gonna do that, and I'm just kind of eyeballing in it. And then again, I did use some foam squares, foam tape, whatever you got. There you go. Okay. Now from here, I can fold it over. Although for my next step, I really recommend keeping it flat, but this will work. So it's pretty right now, right? But we're not done. Of course not. I'm gonna add some beautiful liquid pearls. I'm doing this in black because I want this to be a little bit more of a sophisticated type card. You could do it in a different color. I think it's important when you are creating that you do use either a black or white somewhere, just to allow the eye to rest for the recipient. Sometimes if you have too much color and you don't have a black or white, you don't have any place for your eye to rest, and that can be frustrating. And a lot of people don't understand why their piece, after they've used a bunch of different, colors on it, why their piece may not have any depth. Well, if you use a black or a white, you're going to get that depth that you want. And I'm just gonna pop on a couple of these. I'm going to make sure that I work in in odd numbers. And I think that card is done. So pretty, really great. Gosh, that took me under an hour to make, and it's lovely. All right, if you are interested in anything that I used, I do have it listed down below for you, so you can make this card. Those are affiliated links, so I do make a little bit of a kickback on them. However, it's no additional cost to you. Sometimes they even give you a discount for using them. But what that does is it just allows me to continue to bring you free content on YouTube. I make my money off of the ad revenue here and off of my affiliated links, and that allows me to keep everything free for you, which I really want to continue to do. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it if you know anyone that would enjoy this. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I have a new video coming up. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Until next time, I'm Betsy Golden. Happy crafting.